President Biden's foreign policy is taking a hit this week, big time, as his top defense officials admit defeat in Afghanistan. And as a former U.S. Marine faces a pretrial hearing today after being jailed for saying we all know our generals screwed up and our leadership was terrible and our decisions were awful. It looks like voters may agree with this stance. A new poll reveals that Biden's approval rating is dropping over its handling of Afghanistan. I can't even believe 38% approve. Meanwhile, Fox News contributor Joey Jones, who fights these wars, lost his legs over an IED in this war in Afghanistan, joined us now to react. What did you take away from those 2 days of testimony, Joey?
Yeah, you know, I pretty much stay glued to the TV, and if you read my Twitter, you saw I reacted in the moment for both of them because there was so much happening that I think fell into nuance. There were some questions that were never asked that I really wished were asked. One of them is simply asking General McKenzie if the buck stops with him on the drone strike, then why wasn't he the first one to resign? A lot of the kind of, I guess you would political theater around General Milley resigning kind of centered around a Chinese phone call or things that I think they actually had decent explanations for. But at the end of the day, we had 10 civilians killed by a drone strike, and I believe both drone strikes were purely for headlines. And those headlines have turned their cannons back towards the president because they were done in haste and they were done, it seems, to no effect at all or to the effect of killing civilians.
Joey, they knew right away, but it took the Washington Post, New York Times story for them to admit it. Does that bother you?
It bothers me because it doesn't surprise me. It bothers me because this is the exact war plan that they're proposing will replace having people like myself and those a lot smarter and more courageous than I ever was. They're on the ground gathering intelligence, keeping us safe. Listen, when President Trump was president and he said he was going to pull the troops out of Afghanistan, I took that the same way I took every time President Trump went to the bully pulpit and made these big declarations. It was a challenge to our military leaders to do better. When he said we're going to pull out by May 1st, I never believed we were pulling out by May 1st. I believe that was a timeline put in place to spur action in our military-industrial complex, right, to not think they could just push him over like the previous presidents. And I still feel that way.
Yeah, I want to talk more about this, but I do want to get to this story, too. Yesterday, and thankfully there's blowback on every side, the New York Times thought, what a great time to offer some suggestions to redesign the American flag that really hasn't changed in design for 100 years, but we've added a few stars here and there. So take a look as we weave through the options and what they mean. Does anything to you scream, we need to do this?
Listen, they're going to attack everything about the fabric of this country, and they're certainly going to attack everything that makes us unify around who we are in our social imaginary, our national identity, because they want to change that. And if they can shift that conversation to something arbitrary in their minds like a flag, then we won't pay attention to the actual changes they're making in our schools and how we allow the government to tell us what to do with our bodies and things of that nature. This is a deflect maneuver, and no. We've got a flag. I love our flag, and don't you try to change it.
Let's hope we don't try to do that. People also look at it as a trigger now because Donald Trump embraced the flag,
ugly
too.
as sin.
I know.
They're just ugly designs.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Joe. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.